This is Seeingreen Radio checking in right here on YouTube with your girl KK, better known as your favorite host from my podcast, Uncomfortable Truth, streaming on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Make sure you guys log in today because from here on out, I'll be dropping weekly videos. So to get right started, today I'm here with Tyrin. Basically just a quick rundown on Tyrin. She's literally been supporting me since day one of my podcast. Thank you so much.
Of course, girl. It's like the best podcast ever. I listen to it every
Period.
day. You know, and if you're not tapped in, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Literally. And if you're not tapped in now today, what are you doing?
Exactly.
But yes, as you can see, she's still here, still supporting me,
Of course.
strong. And I had to give her that recognition to let her be the first person on my podcast
And I'm
and
on
on my
it.
radio show. We here. We locked it. So basically, today, as you can see from the title, we're talking about lifestyle, friends and family, and what was the? Dang. Oh, self-growth. I said self-growth. Okay, so if you guys don't know, she's not from Connecticut. She used to live in Connecticut, but now she lives in Boston, which I think is wonderful because I always talk about getting out of, Connecticut,
You definitely should. That's the way to go.
I feel like it's, a good, momentum for anyone to kind of get out of their environment, and just kind of learn, different things being from somewhere you're not. So tell me what's that like, moving somewhere.
So I lived in Boston previously from living in Connecticut, so
Okay.
I was pretty familiar with it, and I always went to Boston on the weekends. So that part it wasn't really new to me, but I will say moving there, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
As far as friends, as far as more about myself, I definitely learned a lot more about myself
I love
getting
that.
out of the environment that I was in Connecticut because I hated living.
Yeah. When did you move to Boston? How old were you?
I was 16.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
young.
so that it was the end of my sophomore year. I moved that summer, and honestly, I'll say it was the best decision for me because it helped me grow in a way I knew living in Connecticut wouldn't.
Okay. That's good.
It helped me grow a lot, and I got a lot more opportunities that I definitely wouldn't have gotten in Connecticut.
Right.
The opportunities that I have now, I know for sure I wouldn't have.
No,
got
that's facts.
if
Connecticut's so,
I
small.
It's too small, and even Boston is small too, but once you branch out more and you meet people and you figure out what you want to do and where you want to go in life, you meet good people who can help you with that.
Yeah, the opportunities and networking and stuff. That's so good. Seriously, because I know being in Connecticut, you can only do so much, you know what I mean? And like you said, Boston's not as big, but even when I go out there, I always see new different things, and there's
Yeah.
always something to do out there. Okay, I love that. Yes. So you basically went there during your high school year. Did you
Yeah,
finish high
pretty
school out
much.
there?
Yeah, I
What was that
did.
like the friends and stuff?
So honestly, I'm gonna keep it honest. I probably made one friend in high school because my first year living out there, I went to a public school system.
Oh.
So I made one friend out there because
And you're picky anyway.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm really picky and
Yeah.
I really don't like people like that
Yeah.
anyways. So I really just kept to myself and the person that I gravitated to, me and her have been friends since then.
Oh, that's so good. Okay.
It's my girl, I love her. But yeah, and then after that I went to private school for my last year of high school. So it was a really small private school. There wasn't that many high schoolers, so it was just me and one other
Damn.
senior, and then it was a whole bunch. But yeah, I don't know. I feel over the years, because of social media and because of the pandemic as well,
Oh,
I've made a
facts.
lot of mutuals in Boston. So I know a lot more people and I have a lot more mutuals.
Right.
But as far as someone I can call a friend,
Yeah.
we're still at one.
No.
Yeah, we're still at one. And I hang out with my family. A lot of my family
Okay.
lives out there.
I would-
I didn't have any family in Connecticut.
Okay, so that actually kind of brings me to my next question. How did moving out there affect the relationships you had out here and stuff?
Oh, we can get into that. So like I said, I didn't have family out here because my family's not from here. It's my sister's family. So that aspect, it wasn't really that much. I got closer with my family, which was great because I needed them a lot. So
Okay.
as far as friends, I can say moving opened my eyes to what truly a friend was, like the real definition of a friend. And even though I just like recently, in my recent years, learned and fully got it down packed, what?
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough, and I'll definitely be 100% transparent. It's really lonely, especially when you're moving somewhere where you don't have any friends.
Yeah.
So you're relying on a phone call, you're relying on a text, it's pretty
Just
much
that consistency.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And over the time I realized like a lot of the effort was only me. You know what I'm saying? And like
One-sided.
exactly. It was very much one-sided with a lot of people, and as I started to separate, it was just like
It's just like
it was a tough process because a lot of the people that I separated from were people I was friends with from the first day I moved to Connecticut.
yeah,
Like,
that sucks.
you know what I'm saying? And over the time, like I realized like these people were never my friends, and they were only in my life because I was at such low point in my life when I first moved to Boston, that they were pretty much, I wouldn't say taking advantage of me, but in a way they were, like, you know what I'm saying? Because they knew I was at a distance, they used that against me. You know what I'm saying? So like, and even so, like, I tried to keep friendships going. Like when I tell you effort was there, I was coming here every weekend, paying. Like
You're better
straight
than me.
out of pocket. It's a 2-hour drive.
Wait, you were lifting over here?
No,
Oh, okay.
no.
I was about to say.
Gosh, no, hell no. But it's still a 2-hour drive. Like, and I would come here every weekend. The days I didn't have to work, like I would take weekends off. I would try to see as many people.
Did anyone try going over there?
No.
That's
Absolutely
so whack.
not.
If I had a friend that moved out of state, like I would love to go visit them over there and see like what their life is like.
When I tell you the effort was not there, it was not there. But yeah, so like it was a lot of like me coming out here, me trying to see everybody in the 2-day span that I had. You know, Saturday and Sunday, that's not a lot of time to see all the people that I'm supposed to see.
Your first day is basically coming over here.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's the ride here.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? And I made the mistake. I'll say it was a mistake for me by grouping everyone together so it was easier for me to see everyone. I will say that's the worst mistake I've ever made in my life.
Did their vibes like clash or
No. It didn't clash at all. We'll just say, I'll just keep it like this.
no tea, no shade?
Yeah, no tea, no shade, but we can get into that though. You know, it's crazy. I can talk about it because I don't really care. Like, I don't mind if you put it in or not. But I put everyone together because I felt bad when I was only linking with one person who was my best friend at the time.
Okay.
I felt bad because everybody else wanted to see me, and it was just like, well, you know, this is my best friend. She's my main priority, you know? So once I started to group everyone together, that's when I was like, oh, okay. Like, it was cool. It was working out for a while at the time. Like, you know, it was going good, and then once I started to go through personal things in my life, like bad personal things, like I was calling suicide hotline every weekend. Yes, it was bad. Like,
Damn, I wish I was your friend.
it was so bad. Like, but I was still making the effort to put my problems and my mental health and the state of mind I was in aside to make sure everyone was still seeing me, to make sure I was a good friend, because all I wanted to do was prove that, you know, I was someone's friend. Because, you know, I didn't have someone who was always there for me. And I always wanted to be that person for someone.
Because you know how it feels.
Yeah, exactly. So I know how it feels. So I always tried to make it, you know, if I had to switch something around, I had something planned, somebody needed me, I was there.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I was switching stuff around, I was there.
Yep.
What?
But that's so
me and my
bad.
dad got into an argument. Somebody called me that night, needs me to come to Connecticut. I was there. Like, and it was such a bad mindset to have at the time because of what I was going through, but I don't regret anything I went through with anybody, because at the end of the day, it was a learning experience.
Yeah, and
you
like
know what
it
I'm
makes
saying?
you who you are today.
Right, it makes me who I am today, and it made me stronger, and it made me more intelligent emotionally. You know what I'm saying? So I learned a lot about myself emotionally and about other people, and what to look for, what not to look for, what, you know, like if something's, you know,
off.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? If something's off, you know
when
to
to
make
catch
it known,
you.
you know what I'm saying? Because when I tell you, like, my boundaries were at 0 and people took advantage of that, it was at 0. Like, I just let people do whatever.
Honestly, like,
and whatever.
experiences like that suck so much because, like, I feel like good people, it always happens to good people. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And I always say this, like, there's not too many good people in this world.
There isn't.
So the fact that people, like, can do that to someone, it's like...
It's like people like to pretend. People put on this persona or this facade that they're a good person. And I also don't... I don't penalize people or, you know, try to look down at them because of that, because you know what I'm saying? Everybody is different to different people. So you know what I'm saying? I don't ever try to, like, I don't ever bad talk anyone for what they did to me or for the experience they put me through, because at the end of the day, they might not put anyone else through that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they might not act that way towards anyone else. So, like, you know what I'm saying? However they acted towards me, you know what I'm saying, was just a me and them thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
exactly.
however they decided to project how they felt onto me
Facts.
is, you know, something that I cannot be angry about,
Yeah.
because you know what I'm saying? Like, everyone feels how they want to feel. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's entitled to how they feel.
Exactly.
Did they have to feel like that towards me? No, they didn't. But you know what I'm saying? To each his own, you know?
To each his
You
own,
can do what
facts.
you want. We're all grown here, you know? But yeah, that's
No, honestly, I get it. Because it's kind of like if someone were to hear something bad about me and then now they don't want to fuck with me, it's like, well, you didn't, like, come get a vibe with me first. So, like...
I go through that today still.
Well, that sucks.
It does. And it's I wouldn't say it's really hard, but it's kind of annoying because I go through it all the time and people try so hard to make it seem like I can read people easy.
Okay.
It's not hard to tell that you've heard something about me from someone else and you're coming to me to see if it's true.
They make it so obvious.
You're not hiding. You're not hiding at all. You're not. Like, it's so easy to tell, and it baffles me because it's just like, for all that, you could have just asked me. And I could have told you, like, the problem is I don't ever just speak and tell everybody anything. But if you ask me, maybe I will tell you.
And we're grown.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. I'm a grown-ass woman, so, like, I don't have to lie about nothing. You know what I mean? So if somebody was to ask me something like, da-da-da, you know, you can get the this and this and that, and that's it. But we're not going to sit here in depth and talk about this, and that, and we're going to talk about this person, or we're going to say this about this person, because at the end of the day, that doesn't benefit me at all. I'm not making no money talking shit about nobody. Right, exactly. Like, we're not here for that. So, yeah, I dislike that a lot. Because it's like,
I respect it, honestly. A lot of people aren't like that, which is really sad. And I feel like a lot of it does have to do with, like, social media too sometimes, because people like to listen to the next thing someone else has to say. So, yeah, it's definitely a bad, comfortable thing people have within themselves. But when I notice things like that, the first thing I think is, like, they need to heal and find themselves.
People, therapy. I don't even have a therapist, and I recommend therapy. Like,
I don't know about therapy, but...
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not for me. I personally don't think it's for me. But, like, for some people, a lot of people need to be told about themselves.
Yeah, it's definitely effective. But
people need to be told about themselves. And sometimes a therapist will do that for you. Like, if you don't need to be told about yourself and you know what I'm saying? Like, you can do the work on your own to better yourself.
Right.
You don't need a therapist.
Right.
Yeah. But if you're just actively being unaware of how you act towards people and just how you are as a person, babe.
But sometimes that could also be, like, because no one's telling them to. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course.
Like, people don't know how to hold people accountable. So it's like they just be out here doing whatever. But that's also, like, another problem.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes. A whole bunch of people just enabling each other.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know if people do this just so they can allow people to be in their life so they can say they have friends.
That's one reason for sure. Like,
but if that's what you have to do so you're not alone, like, that should tell you something.
Yeah, it's time to spend some time alone, like, serious time. And that's another thing too. I spent a lot of time alone. Like, I had to learn to love solitude, which I already was pretty much into it because of me hating living in Connecticut.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, And I'm a very, what's the word, introvert, right?
Yeah, introvert. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm very to myself. So
Okay.
like solitude was very easy to come by. It's
Mm-hmm.
just sitting and teaching yourself it's not you being lonely.
Yeah.
It's you spending you time. It's you
Yeah.
taking time to yourself, to
That's
learn
so
yourself.
facts. That's
You
facts.
know, just to love yourself back.
Mm-hmm.
Because loving yourself is great.
It is.
It's
But
great.
it's definitely hard to, you know.
It is. It is.
I'm not gonna knock anybody like who doesn't have like self love, because I get it. Like it really is hard, and like you were saying, like it's kind of telling yourself like you're not alone. It's just spending that time alone. It really is hard, but
Of course.
I'm really happy, like, you know, like you have that within yourself, because it's not easy, especially because like you were so young.
Yeah, it was
You were young.
a long road to self-love, but once I figured out self-love within myself, I realized another thing. I was a very angry person before. Before I lived in Boston.
Yeah.
And even when I was living in Boston, like I was so angry. I was angry at the world. I was angry at everybody because everybody was so shitty to me. And I just felt like, damn, well, everybody's so shitty. Why can't I be shitty?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
You're gonna project.
you know, exactly. So once I got out of that mindset and I just started to love myself, then I realized my real purpose was to pretty much, you know, love. Like
Yeah.
that's all I care about now is
Yeah.
like loving people, because people
love
need
love.
that. Exactly. I love loving people. Like anybody needs love, anybody needs support.
Yes.
I'm your girl. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because love is a great feeling. Like it makes people
is.
feel good, whether it's platonic, whether it's, you know, in a relationship.
Intimate,
With, yeah, exactly. Or with family. Like
Yeah, friends,
love
yes.
feels good. So,
Yes.
you know, I try my best to love everyone. I try my
Yes.
best not to stoop down to, you know,
No.
the angry person I was, because
No.
that's another thing too. Like back to how people perceive me. Like if someone perceives me a certain way as like the villain or a mean girl,
Right.
babe, I'll play that role for you. Like, and that's my thing. Like I'll do it though, because if that's what you want to see, like I'll show you that.
Okay.
You want me to prove you right, I'll do it. But at the end of the day, I know who I am behind closed doors. I know who I am to my friends. My friends know who I am. My family know who I am at the end of the day. So how you perceive me, you could take it, you
Right.
can run with it, you know, write it down. I don't know. But you can get that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I'm not responsible for how anyone perceives me at all.
Exactly. Like that's something you can't control.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you take like stuff like that, like offensive all the time, like you're not gonna be happy with yourself. You're gonna take anything the wrong way. So yes,
Yeah, gotta learn how to not take things personal. Of course.
for sure. Okay. Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot. Like, so do you think like the lifestyle here and out there also helped you too? How you kind of like looked at things as far as like your friends and family?
Hanging out with my dad, literally. Because that's usually what I did on the weekends. I did go to Boston, like hang out with my dad and stuff. And spending time with my cousins, honestly, the closer I got to my cousins, the more I did. So like I'm at my cousin's house every weekend.
Yeah.
We're doing this, we're doing that, we're going out. You know what I'm saying? Like we're doing things. Or when I'm with my dad, you know, it's the usual. He rides bikes. So, you know, I'm meeting people who ride bikes, you know. In that environment, I go to car shows and stuff. I meet people at car shows, you know what I'm saying? Because that's, you know, my interest. I like cars.
Okay.
So pretty much it was just like a lot of everything was already set up for me in that aspect, because I did have a life in Boston already,
Yeah.
but it was so brief because I was only there for a weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense then, yeah. Because I'm kind of looking at it at like, you know, like the lingo must be different out there.
Oh, yeah.
The way people dress, you know what I mean? Stuff like
Oh,
that.
okay,
So how
yeah,
is all
yeah.
of that like?
So, as you know, fashion is I guess a big thing in Boston, because, you know, a lot of fashion people come out of Boston, you know, move
Yeah.
to New York and stuff. You know, Boston's very city-like, so fashion comes pretty often. There's a lot of great brands out of Boston, a lot of great brands, you would think. But yeah, like that's different. The lingo's different. Everyone always tells me, because I say on dead dogs, like that's a Boston thing.
Yeah.
But like I've adapted to it. Like I've lived there for so long. That's literally a part of my vocabulary and stuff like that. But what else? Like the culture is different. I will say like the party life is different a little bit,
Yeah.
because there's two sides. There's the city Boston party life, and then there's the hood party life,
Okay.
which is like, you know, your typical Caribbean parties and stuff. Like we have carnivals, we have Juve and stuff, which is this weekend. I'll be there.
Okay, you outside.
Yeah, outside. You know what I'm saying? But like all that, even though it can be a little iffy, like the people can be a little iffy, like it's always a good time. Like at least I can say like when there's carnivals or when there's parties and stuff, sometimes a lot of people can put their differences aside with other people just to have a good time.
See, I like that.
Yeah, like
I like that a lot because out here,
yeah, that's why you never see me.
yeah, no,
I literally don't go to any type of functions, anything. And I'm really big on like going to like Juve and stuff. Like I've really been trying to get outside more, and I like going to Juve. Like that's fun, you know, dancing. Everybody got their flags.
Yeah.
Everybody's repping their flags and stuff. Like I like doing that, but I'll never go in Connecticut.
Yeah,
like I'll
no,
never go.
Me either.
It's just bound.
Yeah, you can literally feel the energy.
Yeah, you can feel like
It
the
does not
energy
feel
is.
safe.
It doesn't
wanna
at
go
all.
home.
No, seriously, like seriously. But yeah, like it's like that. I like the hood life. I haven't really
That's so
dabbled into
good.
like the city nightlife yet because white people are scary. But I heard the bars are really fun.
Wait, how old are you?
21.
Oh, so you're illegal. Okay.
Yeah, very much legal, you know.
Okay.
But
Dang.
yeah.
I'm still a baby.
It's okay, girl.
Almost there. But
Don't rush it.
that's actually really good, honestly, because, like, with me, like, I have bad anxiety. So, like, when I go to places, like, okay, this is about to get, like, a little bit weirdy, where there's been, like, terrorist attacks. Sometimes I get scared, especially, like, New York, because how populated it is.
Of course.
So, like, sometimes when I go to Boston, I get scared, too, sometimes. But that's just, like, a...
especially the city. Like after like the whole protest thing that happened out there, it was bad. Like even Carnival, I use that as an example. Like for years, my mom wouldn't let me go because they used to shoot up Carnival every year. Yeah,
See?
they used to shoot it up every year. Like it's
Wow.
crazy. It's so crazy. But everyone's died down, you know. The people in the city have like I've been to like a few concerts out there,
Okay.
and I explored a little bit, but you know I try to keep it short.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still a little black girl in Boston, you know? So, yeah, but it's...
Did you ever experience, like, something weird like that?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I literally work in a predominantly white town. Or all my years of working in Boston, I've worked where it's predominantly white customers.
What?
It's bad. Like, even when I was a waitress at, like, this restaurant, I was illegally working at a restaurant that was a nightclub.
Oh, okay.
I was like underage. You had to be 21 to be in the building after 10 o'clock. My shift was literally from 6 to 1 a.m. Like, it was so bad. Like, when people get, especially people who are not of color, get really drunk, it really shows how racist they are. Like, the racism in Boston, I'll say is really bad. Like, when people think Boston, they think racism, you're absolutely right. Like, you're absolutely right. But they're not as, I will say, it's not as bad as if you would go down to, like, down south, like the super country, where it's, like, real deal racist. They're, like, you know, they're scary racist, you know? They make a slick remark. They don't think you're going to say anything. But when I do, because I don't care about my job,
Right.
you know, because regardless, I can get another one.
Right.
Then it's just like, oh, you know, I'm sorry, you know? Like, they're scary. You know what I'm saying? That's why I really never... It's not really a problem for me because at the end of the day, I'm going to open my mouth because you're not going to talk to me how you want to and you're not going to say what you want because...
Right. Especially about that.
Yeah, exactly, because I don't know about anybody else. If you see all the black people on the internet who just let the people slide, but I'm not them. Like, I will show you, you will meet the right person today playing with
Wow.
me. Like, it's so bad out there.
Did you ever experience that here in Connecticut?
No, I
No?
didn't.
Okay.
Because I lived in Hartford, in East Hartford briefly, so I didn't really experience that because my school was very diverse, I guess. It was very diverse.
Right.
Yeah. So I didn't really experience that. Thank God. Because
seriously.
it would have made me hate Connecticut more. But yeah, I definitely didn't experience that here.
Okay. Well, that's good at least, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we were kind of just, you know, talking about, like, your experiences out there, which is, that's actually really terrible, honestly. I've never experienced nothing like that before. I hope I never do.
Yeah.
Because...
Yeah. It hasn't been as bad to the point where I had to, like, get super crazy. But, like, it's just, like, you know.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate because Boston is majority white people. So, you know, I guess that's one thing I'll say. That's one thing I enjoy about, I guess I do live in the hood, right? I guess
Out
about,
there?
yeah,
Okay.
like I definitely pick living in the hood in Boston over living in Hartford any day.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because even though it has its days, like, it's better than living in the city. Like, it's better having to deal with racist white people all day. It's the part that separates the hood and the city.
Okay.
And it's so terrible out there. Like, it's so bad.
Is it like how downtown is over here? Like if you keep going straight, then you're in the north end. Is it like
Yeah,
that?
it's pretty much separated like that. But it's worse. Like the homelessness, like
Oh, like they're out on the street.
they literally call it zombie land.
See, no.
It's so bad. It's so bad, but it's just like that's Boston. Like you gotta like I get it, but at the same time, like for the amount of money that state makes, because
It's like sad in a way.
yes, because why the fuck is it so expensive to live here, and you guys make so much money?
Yeah. Is the minimum wage out there the same as in Connecticut?
No, I think the minimum wage, at least when I started working when I was 16, was like $14.50, and that was back in 2017.
Yeah.
So
Damn.
yeah, I think the minimum wage went up $1 now. I think it's like $15.
Now? Okay, so then ours is higher then because we get
Probably.
16.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But it also depends on the job as well.
Yeah,
But I think the
that
minimum wage is like $15,
Okay.
probably. But
Wow.
I wouldn't be surprised if they raised it to like $18 an hour. Like it's so expensive to live out there. Thank God I don't have to pay any type of rent or mortgage because what the fuck?
Like even like in like the what's it called? Middle class neighborhoods too.
Yeah.
It's like a lot.
Yeah, I guess where I live in Boston, I guess you would consider it middle class, I guess. But it's still the hood. And it's very much gentrified. Like, yeah. It's like a mini New York.
Yeah, that would pretty much be anywhere.
Yeah,
really,
pretty
you know?
much.
Like
We're very
gentrified.
gentrified. Very, you know. But yeah, it's really expensive to live out there. That's why I personally want to move out of Boston because of the living wages. Like, unless I'm going to school to be a freaking surgeon, I don't need to be living in Boston. Or like, if it was my absolute last option, it would be my last option would be Boston. Like, if I moved to like North Carolina or something and it didn't work out, I'd just move back to Boston. Like, I would never backtrack to Connecticut. You know what I'm saying? Or like anywhere else, because I know like in Boston, like if anything, I have people I can fall back on. You know what I'm saying? Or it's a very familiar area for me to fall back on. So, yeah, but I would not live in Boston for the rest of my life. Like, it's a cute little, you know, character development moment, you know?
Yeah. Are you kind of feeling like the same way you did for Connecticut, like now in Boston, being there after a while?
Yes, but I'll only say because of my living situation.
Okay.
Because I hate home. Like, I hate home. I hate home. I'm never home. Like, you see how quick I was here? Come here? Yeah, I hate home. I hate being there.
Are you the only child in Boston? It's just you and your dad?
It's just me and my dad and my grandfather. I love him to death. But, yeah, me and my dad bump heads, so.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That father, like,
like, you
that's
know what I'm
literally all you
saying?
can
But
say.
really, but you know, it just motivates me to move, like to get out. Literally, that's the only thing that motivates me to get out. Because if I didn't have to leave, I definitely wouldn't leave Boston. Like, I'd stay.
Right.
Like, if I didn't feel like I had to leave, I would stay. Because, you know, that's where my cousins live, and I'm so close with them.
Yeah,
Like my
you form
family, you
that
know what I'm saying? Like,
relationship.
I'm really close with my family out there, so that's one thing I'm gonna hate the most is having to leave them.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Boston its time is almost up. It's almost up.
Well, I like getting that little intel of Boston, honestly, because I don't even have friends that like live in other states. They probably go to college out there, but I feel like it's not the same experience actually living there like yearly around and stuff like that.
If you want to come visit, you know,
Girl,
I'm always there. You can come visit.
2 hours, that's nothing.
Yeah, seriously.
No, for sure. I definitely had to, especially now. Like, my mom's been going out there a lot
Really?
for like no reason. Shit.
Food's good, so I
Anything
don't
you can
blame
have in
her.
Connecticut.
That's another thing. The food. I'm gonna miss it so much. The food in Boston is so great.
Yeah.
That's one thing Connecticut does not have. Like,
Yeah, they really don't, honestly, unless you're cooking it yourself.
right, but the food out there, like everyone who has me on social media sees, like
Yeah.
I always eat good when I'm eating out there. Like the food is always so good, and a lot of my food comes from like local places anyway. So like
Okay.
stuff that's down the street from my house.
Right. Yeah, I was just about to ask about that. Like, is things like closer? Because I feel like out here, like, you have to drive a little minute to like go to your nearest like store or something. Like,
Yes and no. It's hard to explain because like of how big Boston is and how like it has cities inside of cities. Like I live in Boston, but I live in a city inside of Boston.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? So like everything is like a 30-minute drive is nothing there. Like a 30-minute drive is probably from like, I don't know, East Hartford to West Hartford. Like it's like that. It's quick. So I would say everything's pretty close. And if you live in a good area, everything's definitely really
Yeah.
close. So
Wow.
like that too. Walking too. Everything's like walking distance. most
See,
of the
like
time.
that's what I mean too.
Yeah.
Like here you can't do that.
Yeah,
Everything's
public
so
transportation
far.
is really big in walking because it's like I said, it's like the city. So everyone takes the bus, everyone takes the train to get everywhere.
I love that.
Yeah. The train sucks, but you know, seeing all the businessmen and all the nurses on the train, it's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
we're all just normal people.
See,
doing
I
this
like that
everywhere.
because I feel like out here, like people are so quick to laugh at someone for like taking the bus or something.
Yeah.
Or it's just like I don't get it. Like what's
It's
so funny?
I feel like, well, you know, it's Connecticut, but you know what I'm saying. It's not as city like as Boston to where like, so for example, when I first started going to school there, I don't want to get okay. I live in Mattapan,
Okay.
and the school I was going to was in Chelsea. That's an hour train ride to school every day. Yeah, so like that's a thing too. So public transportation is so big, especially for school kids, because you can go to school anywhere. Like, you
Anywhere.
know, in any vicinity, you can go to school there as long as you get accepted. Because like a lot of the schools out there are like charter schools or like, you know, prep schools. So you got to do a lottery and stuff. But yeah, you can pretty much go to any school. So public transportation is really big out there. And a lot of people work in the city. So you can't park in the city. The parking is shit. The parking is terrible. So everyone takes a train.
That's wavy, honestly. Cause like I know in here it's like if you live in East Hartford, you go to East Hartford school.
Yeah, like you have to live in the town to
Yeah.
go to that school. Yeah, it's
That's
not like
really
that.
cool.
It's not like that out there.
Wow, that sounds like a movie, honestly.
Trust me, every day living in Boston is a movie. Every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's honestly like I love hearing about stuff like this because like you don't meet too many people who get to experience stuff like this, especially
Yeah.
like from how you started, you know, going through all that with your friends. Like even though like you had like your dark moment, like it really did ended up like a bittersweet.
Yeah, of
You
course,
know
of
what I
course.
mean?
I always made light out of every situation that I felt like was trying to take me down or trying to diminish how I feel or how I was mentally because like, you know, you really just got to make the best
Facts.
out of life or you're going to be miserable.
Miserable.
And miserable is the last thing you want to be,
Yeah,
literally
no.
like the last thing you want to be.
Definitely. Like it sucks, but like sometimes like do you ever think like had you didn't move, like would you notice like your friends or your ex friends like true colors?
That's a good question. I would say yes, maybe. And no. Well, yes, because I feel like I was bound to move out of Connecticut. Like, regardless, whether it was when I was 16 or whether I waited till I was 21, I was bound to move out of Connecticut. So, regardless that growth, if I would have stayed, I eventually would have. But I feel like at the same time, no, because. Or no, actually, I don't think no, because I'm living there, so I get to see it face to face like every day. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I feel like eventually I would have outgrew them. You know what I'm saying? Eventually I would have outgrew them because that's a lot of the times that's what it was for some people. Like I just outgrew them. You know? So yeah.
Wow. Honestly, that's good. It really is because things do happen for a reason, you know?
Of course.
And at least you're not like me because sometimes I always like, I question that a lot. Like things happening for a reason. I try to say like, no, like there's no way like this is happening. Like,
oh no,
this.
I understand that because that used to be me too. But I think what I learned was I thought like that because I took everything personal. Like I took everything personal. Like somebody said something to me and I felt like they were attacking me, I took it personal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I had a bad day, I took that shit personal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I took everything personal. And once I realized, like, I don't need to take anything personal because, you know, that's just life. You know, life goes on regardless. And taking things personal only just stopped my growth. Like, it made me question things, and it made me spend so much time in my head. Like, I spent too much time in my head questioning. And once I got out of that, I just realized, you know, like, okay, this happened. What's the next step? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's next? So I always just think about, like, what's next? Like, you know, I had some really terrible shit that happened to me in the past 2 weeks. Terrible weeks. But you know what I'm saying? I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? I'm still in a good mood. Like,
You wouldn't even know.
Exactly. You wouldn't even know if I haven't said anything because at the end of the day, what I just went through isn't what I am right now. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't dictate what's going on right now.
Exactly.
Like, pretty much you have to live in the now. If you're not living in the right now, yikes.
No, that's
But it's
true.
a good learning experience. Like, pretty much trying not to live in the past, you know, dwell on it, or trying to ponder the future, and, you know, trying to speed it up because you're going to miss what's going on right now.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's one thing I had to learn too. Like, I was missing out on a lot of stuff that was happening right now. Like, I wasn't grateful for what was going on at the moment. I missed out on so many opportunities for not living in the now. And of course, for the graces of God, those opportunities came back to me because I learned and I grew, and you know what I'm saying? But, like, you lose yourself a lot not focusing, like, not being present with yourself. If you're not present, you miss out on all the good shit. Even though it feels like you're not missing out on anything, I promise you, you are missing out on all the good shit that's happening. It's
even for yourself.
Yeah, for yourself, of course. Like, you're missing out on a lot if you're not living in the present. Like, you know, just gotta be.
Yeah, you gotta be here. That's
Yes.
so facts, literally. Like, and honestly, that's not like spoken of a lot. I feel like because like it's so easy to be hard on yourself. So obviously, you know, being hard, like you're gonna think about the past a lot.
Oh, of course.
Because there's like a lot of regret in that too. I feel like people always think like because of the choices they made, they'd probably be somewhere different now. So yeah,
Definitely, I agree with that. Because, you know, I still have those days sometimes. But when I do think stuff like that, then I pretty much do like mental notes like, okay, I'm thinking about this. I could have been here. But how would that change right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't have experienced A, B, C, or D if everything was different in the past. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I always just try to be grateful for what I go through, regardless if it's bad, regardless if it hurts me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
try to learn something.
You know,
from
people think
every
I'm crazy when I say, like, this is gonna sound weird. I'm so sorry for your viewers and your listeners.
Here, no judgment.
But, like, I'm very grateful for getting cheated on. Like,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
You can learn a lot from that.
what?
A lot.
When I tell you, like, even though the situation was shit, like, I learned so much. And that alone elevated my self-love and my love for everyone at that even more. And it made me more, what's the word, adamant on my boundaries.
Okay.
So regardless, I don't regret ever going through that. Like, I don't regret it. I don't regret heartbreak. Like, that was my first heartbreak ever. Like, at 20 years old.
Oh yeah.
Your first heartbreak, girl. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I don't regret going through it because at the end of the day, I'd rather now than later. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
I feel like I wouldn't be.
You probably wouldn't perceive everything.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't be where I am mentally. Like, I wouldn't think the way I think. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't treat people the way I treat them now if that never happened. So, yeah.
No, seriously. Like, and you know what? Honestly, like, now that we're talking about, like, going through things, like, you do have to go through things to learn and how to react to stuff. Because if you don't, like, I feel like people react. You can tell when someone's reacting, like, off the first thing that comes to their head.
Yeah.
So definitely going through things really does help you as a person.
Yeah.
Like,
It helps
really
you
does.
take time to sit and think before you react, because I was a big react then think. And, that was bad. But at the end of the day, I learned from that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It all taught me.
And it's not who you are.
Right, exactly. It's not who I am. Like, it really pretty much just taught me of who I don't want to be, like what I don't want to be like I don't want to be that angry person. I don't want to be the person that has to constantly, back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Like, have to check someone, have to go back and forth with somebody, because that takes a lot of negative energy
so much
that I don't have anymore.
Just don't want to be bothered.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be bothered with anything. So like, when it ever comes down to me having to really like open my mouth like that, that's how you really know. Like, I'm really at my point where now you're crossing the line, and now I'm gonna cross it even more, and I'm gonna show you why you shouldn't cross that line, because I'm gonna make sure you know why you shouldn't cross the line. You know what I'm saying? So,
honestly, like, for some people, I know that may come off like intimidating, but I feel like when people who actually go through that stuff, it's so easy to understand, because getting disrespected so many times and not being understood leads to that. So don't fuck with us.
No, seriously, like, when I tell you it, I don't know, that's what I'm actually learning right now, is not really to work on my perception of people, but to work on the outside, because a lot of people are very intimidated by me, like very intimidated, and I'm just like, why?
That's annoying.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why? Like, I intimidate you.
You
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really chill, but like, I get it, because my tone of voice, I do understand that. Like, I have a very intimidating tone of voice. You know what I'm saying? And I'm very outspoken in a way that people aren't used to. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people aren't used to someone who's brutally honest, or someone who's going to tell it as it is, because they're so used to being around people who just tell them what they want. So I guess that's why I come off as intimidating people to people. And, sometimes people catch me on a bad day where I'm like, cussing somebody out, but
that's why it's always good to be that other person, to know, like, this is just that person, they mean no harm. So luckily it's good that, like, I'm that person, because I can tell when someone's like really genuine and stuff, and you can tell when someone's really just like, that's really who you are and I'm good type shit. So no. But
I don't know. Yeah, definitely. Some people are really good at acting, though. I also learned that. What?
Yeah, they are.
A lot of people out here need to be taking a career in acting. Like, it's so shocking and mind-blowing.
Girl, you're going to have to come on for part 2, because
I definitely will, girl, because we can make this happen. Like,
listen,
what?
I just got out of a relationship for that.
Girl, we can talk about relationships. We can talk about past relationships, because I have no problem getting into that. Like, when I tell you, people, even like, not even like intimate relationships, but like, people really, truly are actors.
And
like,
it's sick.
It's disgusting. It's really disgusting. Like, how can you pretend to be someone you're not? Like,
and
at least, you know it's crazy. Sorry to interrupt you. I actually salute people who are terrible people and are like, are open and okay with that. Like,
are aware.
You know what I'm saying? Are aware, like, I'm a shitty ass person. You know what I'm saying? For some people, that's their prerogative, you know? If you're a shitty person and you enjoy being a shitty person, I salute you, because at least you're a shitty person. But if you're pretending to be a good person or pretending to be someone that you're not, and you're so good at it, that's terror. That's
delusional.
It is. It's so mind-blowing. It's so disgusting. It is. How can you? I can't. I don't know.
No, the worst thing is like when everyone believes it.
Yes.
And it's like, well, I didn't, honestly, like with me, like with my experience going through that, like I didn't want to expose this person, because at the end of the day, like I really didn't care. Like I ended my relationship with them, so like what am I gonna keep talking about them for? But like when they were brought up constantly, like it was annoying, because it's like, bro, like I know who that person really is, but it's not for me to tell that. I'm gonna let you guys get your experience on them, and you're gonna see why I wasn't bugging.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So. It's crazy. I'm gonna mention her because I love her so much. My friend Janaya. Like we pretty much had a situation like that, and like she'll even tell you like it's a great, I wouldn't say it's a great thing to experience, but like, you know, I always try my best not to how do I say this? How not to like base how I speak on other people on how they, you know, how they make me feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, for example, when I, you know, when I DM'd you that one time and I was like, oh, I was uncomfortable, da da da. Like, yeah, like I didn't tell you anything. Like, you know, I didn't have to tell you anything. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I kept it calm and I kept it simple because at the end of the day, they're a different person to you than they are to me.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? Like the only people that know are the inside people that were aware, that were a part of the situation. You know, that were there for me, for the tears and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? But like, and if it's ever an outside person, it's just like ask them, and whatever they tell you, I want you to believe them.
Right.
So you can see for yourself. You know what I'm saying?
It's giving Tommy.
Yeah. No, like honestly, like seriously, like, you know, I'm not going to be the person to tell you how someone is. You're going to figure it out yourself.
Because honestly, it falls back on you all the time.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, no matter how someone tries to hide how they are as a person, eventually people will see. You know what I'm saying? Eventually people will, you know, down the line see that, and that's what I went through with her. Like, you know, eventually down the line, we both realized, or she realized, you know, what I was saying was starting to make sense, and she was going through with the same thing I go through, and you know, that just made us closer. So yeah.
No, for sure. Definitely, like explaining to people like why I stopped being friends with that person. They were kind of shocked too, and it took me to show them proof, and they were like, "Yo,
oh, girl."
Oh, I thought you was gonna say I know."
No, but I'm saying that I agree because literally it took people, like when it came down to the, no, I don't believe you. Okay, so I'm going to prove myself. But when I prove myself to you, I want you to know that now you have to take your own perception and don't change that because of what you saw. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have no problem. Like, you want to see? You want
like, what do I have to like?
Right, you know what I'm saying? You want a little bit of insight to prove.
It's not like I'm honestly telling you so you don't fuck with that person.
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if you think I'm lying, I have no problem proving it to you because at the end of the day, I don't have to lie to anyone.
About anything, literally.
I don't have to lie to anyone. Like, all the proof is there, babe. You know? So it's always that. I'm more of a, you know, okay, you ask, you don't believe me? Oh, I don't believe you. I want you to show me. Okay. Now, when I show you, what are you going to do with this information? Like, how is this information helping you at the end of the day? Because you knew I wasn't lying from the jump. So, you know what I mean?
Nosy.
Right. Yeah. So, I you know, I let nosy people have their thing because at the end of the day, that's what, you know, that's how they get their rush. That's what makes them thrive, I guess, to them. But
and I know what my intentions are at the end of the day.
Right, exactly. So. I always know what my intentions are, and I always know my intentions are pure with everyone. No one can ever say my intentions with them were ever malicious or bad, because at the end of the day, if they were, I was in a terrible part of my life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I've grown from that. And I can openly, and one thing about it, I can admit when I'm wrong. I can admit when I do something that's hurtful, or when I'm unaware of something and then I become aware of it. You know, I can apologize for stuff like that.
For sure, yeah.
I can't do that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I know my first intentions are always going to be genuine, because I know that other people's intentions are always genuine, and I don't want to be like that.
Yeah, and you never know what someone's going through.
Right, you never know what someone's going through. You never, ever, ever know. So, like, I always try to make sure, like, when people first meet me or, like, first speak to me, it's always good. Or regardless if it's the first time or if we've spoken multiple times, I always make sure my conversation is always good and positive with people, because at the end of the day, some people need that positivity. Some people need that love. You know, some people need that, you know, just that genuine feeling of someone just, you know, being good to them.
Facts.
And a lot of people don't get that. And a lot of people don't do that either.
They don't, no.
So I'm happy to be one of a kind, because, you know what I'm saying? There's not a lot of people like me. And
one of one.
Yeah, very much one of one. And I'm glad, because I'd rather be the person who's one of one than being the person who's one of, like, of everybody. Yes. You know what I'm saying? You know, I enjoy being that person for somebody. So
yes. So yeah, I definitely do agree. Like, being a good person really is, like, it's not even self-taught at this point. It's just who you are. But,
right.
You know, being like that person in someone's life really does, like, have a lot to do with everything, because you never know what that person is going through.
Of course.
And you always want to, like, give them the best experience because they may need it more than you. Like,
Definitely.
there's this one oh you was gonna
No, go ahead. No, I was just agreeing.
there's this one quote that I love. It's like, damn.
It's okay.
It's something along the lines like people like us will never get the love like we want
Oh,
because
of course.
we're supposed to like
Give
give
it
out
out.
a certain type of love.
Oh,
you know?
I definitely, I agree with that. As that goes along with feeling as finding my purpose as loving people. Like,
Yeah.
I think my purpose in life is to love. Like, and I'm glad I found that out because I don't really care too much about receiving or I don't expect love from anyone because of how much love I have, not only for myself, but for other people. Like, I radiate so much love now that it's enough for me. You know what I'm saying? It's enough for me where I don't need it from someone. You know what I'm saying? Like, and also I get it enough from the people in my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, as far as my friends, you know what I'm saying? As far as like intimate people,
Yeah.
you know, like I get enough love from some people. Or at least, yeah, like I just get enough of it where I don't expect it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't expect nobody to love me. Like, I don't need you to love me because at the end of the
Right.
day, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to go home and I'm going to talk to that girl in the mirror and tell her how much I love her because,
I love that.
you know what I'm saying? I love
Yeah.
myself because not to really sound like hyping myself up, but like I'm really that because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? I can back up everything I say about myself, you know what I'm saying? And other people can back it up. Not that what other people say is matter, but as long as I can back up
Yeah.
what I say about myself and I show that, you know what I'm saying? Or my actions show that, or how I am, or my personality shows that, hey.
You have an identity. That's
Exactly, you know what I'm saying? I very much do have an identity. I do.
Yes.
So yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yes, that's honestly like I feel like that's really the key for real. Like just having like that self-love and being self-aware. All that's really important. So basically like my last question to you is really like what memory do you like revisit the most, you know, like from Connecticut and like your old self?
Okay, let me think. Because I'm gonna be honest, completely transparent. Most of my years of living in Connecticut, I spent in a dissociative state because of my at-home life. Like,
Yeah.
I was a freaking mom. Yeah, being the oldest, if you're the oldest out there, I feel for you, babe. Love from me to you because I get it. I was a mom, like
Damn.
a freaking mom. I had no childhood because I was doing the mother thing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I will say, okay, she's gonna laugh when she sees this. The memory I revisit the most from living in Connecticut is a sleepover that I had at my house with Janaya, and it was our freshman year of high school, and I don't even know if my mom was home. She might have been home and she was asleep or something, but she had alcohol in the freezer, and we were just like, oh yeah. It was our first time, or at least my first time. I don't know if it was her first time, but our first time getting drunk together. And it was such like, I felt like I had someone, you know what I'm saying?
A nostalgic moment.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like, I always look back at that memory, or actually any memory I have with her,
Yeah.
I look back at because it's just like, you know, damn, I really had somebody who was really there for me, like, was there for everything. Like, and this is not a memory in Connecticut as well, but Janai came to Boston with me. I can't say a friend had came to me, but one weekend Janai had came to Boston with me back in, I think, middle school maybe, or high school. No, it was definitely middle school. And she was the only friend to ever meet my grandmother.
Really?
And my grandmother was someone dear to me. Like, she was
Yeah.
basically a mom to me. So I always hold every memory I have with Janaya, and especially that one, because losing her at a young age, like I didn't get to, like none of my friends got to experience her. So,
Yeah.
and Janaya did, you know what I'm saying? So
That's
I
really
always,
sacred.
I hold, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's very sacred to me. So literally any memory I have with her, I hold to me dearly because,
It just sounds like it's always a good moment.
right, you know
with
what I'm
her.
saying? It's always a good moment with her. What? It's, oh, you got to hang out with us one day. Like,
I know.
always-
Hello. The street
Girl,
market.
Yes, yes. And we'll be here this weekend too. So.
Okay. Oh, so yeah.
Saturday, you know, you're gonna hang out. Just let us know. We're
gonna hang
both
out. We
here.
gonna hang
But
out.
yes, every memory I have with her is very dear to me. So like, yeah, I'll say that any memory I have with her in Connecticut, especially that one of us getting drunk, because I learned that she doesn't very much get hungover, and I do. So we had to go to school the next day and everything. Oh my God. It was so bad. Like, we woke up the next day and went to school. She was all happy, and I'm just shitty because I'm fucking hungover. Like,
headache on 10.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, every memory I have with her is very sacred. She makes all my bad memories of Connecticut, at least, like, she make them disappear.
She balances out.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. Everybody deserves a person like that in their life.
And I'm glad I have her.
Yeah,
because,
for sure.
Man, I don't know who the fuck I would have without her. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say I owe a lot of my growth to her, but
she definitely had a lot to do with it.
She played a big part in me learning how to grow myself, and she like literally knows everything, like beginning to end. Mm-hmm. Like I said, she was my literal first friend. I first moved to Connecticut. Mm-hmm. We were both each other's first friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's been here since day one. So like, yeah, I'll say that.
I love that, seriously, because a lot of people don't know how to, like, stay committed for that long.
Yeah.
You know, people, like, I don't want to say they like to give up easily on purpose, but it definitely does become a lot for someone, you know? Yeah. So the fact that she was able to, like...
Yeah, handle that. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we love her. Yes. Period.
Wow. Yeah. Well, Tyrin, thank you so much for coming on my show. Of course.
Thank you for having me. Yes. You know, I'm honored because I'm your biggest fan. I love...
Don't say fan. You're a supporter.
Listen, no. I love KK, y'all. Like, I love her. I love this girl. I tell everyone that I love KK. You know, she's doing her shit. Her podcast is the best. And if you're not tuned in, what are you doing? Like, that's it.
Literally, that's it.
That's it. That's it.
Nothing more, nothing less. Exactly. But no, seriously, thank you. Like, we weren't really that close in high school, but like, even my first time meeting you, like, you were very welcoming. I'll never forget that Spanish class.
Yes, and you know what's crazy? Me and July yes, time like never. Yes, like our Spanish class, like we loved KK. Like that was yes.
So, yes, thank you so much for real. Definitely look for a part 2. Yeah. Because I was feeling the vibe here.
Yeah, I'll definitely come back. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, whenever you need me, just call me there. I'll come.
For sure. Thank you so much.
Of course.
So, yeah, guys, this pretty much concludes the end of today's video. Make sure you guys lock in for weekly drops, and I'll be seeing you next video. Bye.